The examples that you gave are fantastic. Can you tell us one brand building experience that you had in the Maldives resort, brand building experience that you have had? What are the most memorable?
Very good. I would say I would like you to note down, everybody. Finolu Maldives Biatol, which is actually one of my, I would say, still one of the best experience I had. I was the cluster HR director. It's a brand new it's a new brand created by a local owner, and the property is beautiful, and the colors, the culture, the staff values, vision, and what we deliver. It's a beach club resort, and we have this huge swimming pool and all beach club activities, and the dynamic experiences we provided embedded into the marketing pitch. So if you look at the website itself, you see very bluish, colorful, vibrant, active resort. This is what you get when you come to the resort. So um, I would say I will choose Finolu as a property. And doing the branding, obviously, the resort manager Rochelle at that time had done quite a lot of work. Mark Haya was involved. I was more involved in creating the back of the house, the vision into reality with the staff and the quality and the standard. So I think we all did a fantastic job to make it work, and it really worked. It's 125 key, huge, massive resort with a huge bar and a big island, and it is doing still fantastic. It has got a new owner, but they again refurbished a little bit, but the brand and the culture, everything is so perfectly positioned well. That actually worked. So I would say that I won't remember that. I won't forget that. That was one of the best experience I had.
You all are having a lot of input coming in from different discussions that we are bringing in. At the same time, there's a lot of growth that is happening in terms of understanding the cultural perspectives as well as enhancing your knowledge in the programs that you're taking. So let me introduce today again none other than Dr. Rohan Korala, who is the head of postgraduate unit in APIT Sri Lanka, the pioneering personality behind bringing this exposure to you. And while introducing him, we do have an amazing another guest with us on board today. And let's go ahead and see what is in there for you today with this webinar taking place. So with that, let me invite Dr. Rohantha Korala again to introduce our speaker and start off for the day. Dr. Rohantha, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kaushali, and lovely to have you back on the program. Nirushan giving all the support on the techie side. We have an amazing personality whom I met um, about a week back at the marketing summit in Male. He's a local seasoned hotelier with 16 years plus experience in the business, who gained his experience through well-known worldwide hotel brands such as Hilton, Conrad, Four Seasons, One and Only. And he also worked and took part in 3 pre-openings in the Maldives, with the most recent assignment as a resort manager for Saleh Lagoon Maldives, Curio Collection by Hilton. His hospitality background and experience covers training and quality assurance, human resources, operations. Some of the highlights of his past positions include training manager, the role at Hilton Maldives in Irufushi Resort and Spa, training and quality assurance manager role in One and Only Ritira, learning manager for Four Seasons Resort, Kudahura, and Landa Giravaru. He's the brains and the managing director of the first Maldivian cuisine line dining restaurant in the Maldives, Kallu Odi, with an aim to deliver and share the journey of the rich taste of the Maldivian islands while spreading the culture, intricate and elaborate interior design of the restaurant inspired by the rich tradition of the culture of Maldives. His create a dynamic and innovative ambience with Kaluhodi, which is a much talked about brand in the Maldives. He was also the CHO, Chief Hospitality Officer for one of the largest government companies in the Maldives, Urbanco. He was in charge of the mega development operations of Urban Island, which is the tourism island in Kodagiri, and then, of course, subsequently in Diarufalu National Marina, and of course, the Furuku Furshi, as well as the Tamburu Dudi Island. Currently, the managing director of the Ideas Maldives, sought after speaker, coach, tourism expert on Maldives tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibrahim Inaz, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. That was a very beautiful introduction and long introduction, I would say. Some of the interesting thing that he has highlighted about my life is about the career that I have gone through in tourism sector, which actually took me about 15 years to understand how it works, from very basic jobs to being the resort manager. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here. It gives me a great opportunity, great pleasure to address you all and talk about Maldives as a brand. Thank you, Dr. Rohanta and the team, for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge and experience, especially about the Maldives, because that's where I am from. And we go. So to start with, obviously, that saves a lot of slides about introduction. I'm pretty sure everybody can see this, right? Can
Thank you,
everyone?
Inas. Yes, Inas, thank you very much. Can see.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So before we start, let's talk about Maldives. Some of you have probably visited Maldives and some of you have not visited Maldives. So regardless, we are talking about a destination that won more than 3 times the Global Destination Award for Tourism. We've been operating from 1978 until now, over 40 to 50 years. And we've been dominating the market in many aspects. So let's look at the way we do things in Maldives and some of the key brands. And we can also talk about the differentiators between different brands and how it actually works in Maldives. First of all, let's start with a quick introduction of Maldives. Maldives is a country chain of island that goes to more than 1,192 islands, over 26 atolls. We call it group of islands together as atolls. Initially, when we started the tourism in the Maldives, obviously the tourism started from the capital atoll, which is where Malé is, which is the capital island of Maldives, because it needs to start from where the international airport is. Then we moved away from the capital island with the domestic travel and other accessible opportunities we have got through the sea, speedboats, and domestic airlines and seaplanes. We operate the largest seaplane operation in the entire world, with number of seaplane takeoff and lands in a single day. So it's a huge operation that we are talking about currently. Our aim for Maldives is obviously to get 2 million guests this year, which we achieved once, but after COVID, we went down. And last year, we achieved about 1.6 million guests, and we are trying to go to 2 million guests. I studied in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has done phenomenal job in tourism when it was boosting tourism, and it surpassed Maldives at one point. I remember when I was studying in Sri Lanka. At that time, obviously, everything was going well. Unfortunately, there were a lot of challenges Sri Lanka faced. But when it comes to the context of Maldives, how it works in Maldives is basically out of 1,192 islands, there are two different kind of development that happens in Maldives. One is we do reclaim island, which means we have shallow lagoon that doesn't really, it's not a formed island, but people invest money and reclaim the island, put the coconut trees and the landscaping, and then they create resorts. So that increases the number of islands in the Maldives. The reason why investors do that is because it is more expensive to buy an uninhabited island, rather they go and buy a lagoon to develop, which makes more business sense in terms of return on investment. So we can talk about that, obviously, on a later stage. But when we look at the whole component, what we have, we are talking about 175 operating resorts in the Maldives. So out of these 175 operating resorts, we are talking about resorts, one island, one resort. Um, we got almost all high-end brands around the globe operating in Maldives, as well as local white collar brands. So one of the key things that we learned is that when it comes to international brands and chain, and they, when they start to operate, obviously their ADR and their market and the way they have to operate is completely different than a local brand. There were very few local brands that survived successfully. The others are struggling because it's not really feasible and easy to sell around the world, especially being a local brand, or a new brand. So if you look at the whole concept of, if you look at the whole, hold on, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, I'm not moving. I'm just doing an introduction at the moment. Okay. Yeah, so basically, I'm sorry about that. So basically, when we talk about the whole branding and everything, um, the international brands, they take care of a huge chunk of the resort guest, or the guest that comes to Maldives. And the local brand, they tend to go more into the 3-star and 4-star hotels. Before we go into the slides and detail of marketing aspect, I also want to highlight that out of 175 resorts, in addition to that, we have 815 guest houses that are established in habited islands, in the cities, which actually accounts for a huge number of rooms. So we are talking about, in total in Maldives, we have about 61,000 beds where guests can sleep. So out of the 61,000 in general, we are looking into an occupancy between 60 to 70% or throughout the year. Now, the one of the other key thing that we need to learn during this conversation is that I'm going to be talking about something called ADR, which is average daily rate, which is one of the key parameters we use to understand the level of the resort. So ADR is one of the key element. And the other thing that I will be talking about is service charge. Service charge is 10% of the revenue that we collect on top of the guest bill that is distributed among the staff. When we say service charge to a certain amount, for example, 1,000 or 2,000, that actually indicates, based on the number of people, how much revenue the resort has done. So normally, in average, when we compare, we talk about ADR, we talk about service charge, and there are other keywords such as RevPAR and revenue related. Anyways, we are talking about mainly these two key things. So going back to our initial introduction about Maldives, we started long way from 1978, and we are in 2024. Every product has a lifespan. The reason for Maldives to survive and to do so well over the years is basically one of the key reasons why we are still dominating and we are still being Maldives, despite others are copying other, like Dubai and Saudi Arabia, they're making Saudi Arabia Maldives. We're still doing our best is because we've been innovative throughout the last 50 years. If you look at every single resort has its own personality. When we open a new resort, it always attract a new market. Like, for example, one of the recent open resorts, such as Ifuru in Baetol. This is the only resort that focused on skydiving. So they had to catch a new attraction and new market in order for them to create a name in the brand. Or some creates underwater restaurants, some creates underwater spa, some creates big tournament arena. So basically, everyone has its own unique ways, and we have been adapting to the new technology and new resources, and we've been very innovative in Maldives, which is the key of the success of Maldives over the last years, and still we are being in the position where we are. Just very quickly to take you through the slides. One of the question I always ask, what is your choice of marketing? When it comes to marketing a destination like Maldives or any other country or any other brand, some people are very comfortable with marketing or joining a company that are well established, beautiful brand, great product that I can sell easily. But others also want to take challenge, and they want to work with a company that is struggling, so they become stars in their own world. The reason why I ask this question is basically the answer to the whole conversation goes into the connection between marketing and the success of the management and the resort, because quite often the marketing team becomes a sole or a single unit that operates individually within the organization, whereas the operation does their own thing. So when the operation, when the delivery, when the service, when the product is not in line, or even the strategies that we build are not in line with the vision, and what we sell in marketing, the guest gets disappointed. So if you want to look at really a beautiful positioning and a marketing concept in Maldives, you can always go and Google a resort called Siam World. They actually position the resort well, and they use the same colors that you can see from the property. They use the same dynamics of videos and everything that they actually to market what which is exactly what you are going to get when you come to the property. So it needs a great alignment. This is the reason why I always go and ask this question, because a lot of us normally business development department, which actually consist of revenue management, marketing, sales, and reservation. So four of this unit belongs to a division called business development. And when business development is not aligned or directly connected to the operation or the GM, what happens is we get upset customers or undelivered or underdelivered services. So it is very important in terms of marketing that we align ourselves with what we get in operation. Now, going into details, like my journey, I'm not going to take much time because this is beautifully explained by Dr. Rohanta, but these are the brands that I got exposed to in my career, and I learned a lot, especially their culture, the way they operate, and the way they sell, the way they live their life, right? And then it goes to some of the things that I do in my career, and also I look after the one of the largest job platform in the Maldives as a CEO. So that's a lot about me. But going into our discussion, define success. When we define our success, or when we define success of a company, we tend to look for many keywords such as this, which are great, like risk management, ethical practices, adaptability, strong leadership, customer satisfaction. All of this actually connects to success of a company. There's a reason why I mentioned the brand as first and this innovation as second in this whole list of success definition. But let's look at marketing success. If you look at successful marketing, or if we are connecting a brand or positioning for a resort or any destination, we normally learn in our curriculum, especially in MBA, the 4 Ps of marketing, which I actually want to quite slightly change is B3Ps, which is brand, positioning, price, and performance. The reason why I talk about brand is brand actually speaks for itself. Positioning, obviously, we know that price is included in your curriculum, but performance, again, this is all about what happens on the ground. So the marketing cannot be successful when you are not aligned with what you offer, which I will explain you as an example as we move on to the next slides. A great example of how what we promise and what people get. When this does not match, you end up in a complete failure in positioning the brand. So if you look at the whole thing, the question is what is a brand? Talk about Maldives as a brand. We talk about Four Seasons as a brand. We talk about One and Only as a brand. We talk about many things. We see many brands. We see Apple. We see Samsung. So I want you to think in your head one word about that can explain a brand. Some will, if let's see if it matches with what I give you. So a brand is literally, in simple word, a promise. The best way that I can describe a brand is a promise. Every brand makes a promise to the customers, whether it's Apple, Samsung, One and Only, Maldives, Sri Lanka, or whatever. The brand promises to its customers, like if it is Apple, the most simple or most convenient or most user friendly, whatever product that they can get. I use Apple all the time, but at the end of the day, I don't use all the facilities. I use my phone for very basic features. I don't synchronize it to my laptop and use the best of the performance that I should be getting. But at the end of the day, I have the trust. I have the belief that if it is Apple, they promise that there won't be any virus and there won't be any breakage. So I feel comfortable. So in general, when we look into brands like Hilton, these are the multi like global brands that actually gives us only one. We think that the brand itself is one brand, but however, in global world they have multiple brands that actually comes under Hilton as part of their diversification plan to cater to different niche markets and different and to capture the market. So in Hilton, where there we basically have around 23 different brands that comes under Hilton. One of the key about Hilton is Hilton worldwide is the that they operate in top luxury, medium luxury, and also very basic apartments like Homewood Suites and others. So why I mentioned Hilton, because I had experience of 2 to 3 years working, sorry, 3 plus 4 years working in Hilton, where I learned Hilton is all about, they create a brand, a color called blue energy. And almost everyone who walks around Hilton, they are actually brainwashed, I would say, but they're trained to be part of that blue energy and drive the whole quality assurance and the rest of the things within the culture that actually gives and connects to Hilton as a brand, which actually promises to deliver certain quality of services and sustainable and consistent services. But if you look at, for example, a brand like Four Seasons, this is a very different brand, I would say, that I had a chance to work for. Very super luxury. It comes to us when we see this logo itself. It's ultra luxury in Maldives. If you look at Four Seasons properties, their ADR is very high. Their service charge is very high. The way they treat staffs is completely different. One of the key I think I learned about Four Seasons is their culture is so strong that within the back of the house, nobody talks about anything bad about the brand or the property. If they have any questions, they go into the box and they drop it, unlike other properties. So, and the day when I joined, like for example, I joined as a training manager to Four Seasons. But even if you join as a steward, the first day during the orientation, the first day they do is they take you through a 13 years of journey to become general manager, because the owner of Four Seasons become the owner, and through all the hustles of being a very low key employee. And they have a belief, and their culture is driven by a word called treat the way you want to be treated. So what we as staff in Four Seasons are brainwashed or being taught is, I don't think brainwash is the correct word, but we've been taught that in Four Seasons you need to treat others the way you expect them to treat you. So this is basically how they start luxury services. If you want to get a luxury, super comfortable, personalized experience, this is what you need to create. And then we go into a brand like One and Only, where I actually had a chance to work for 2 years. But as a brand, this is about quality. Everything goes around this brand is all about quality. They have a huge, massive quality assurance department that actually brings us the brand, with its not only with the logo but its vision and the services that they deliver. They do quality audits every quarter, very serious quality audits, and they penalize several operations if they are not up to the standard. So all what I can say about this is, like, as a brand, they operate in Maldives. They're one of the actually biggest in Maldives. They make more than $100 million every year. Their budget is even $120 million a year. That is a huge amount for 125K resort, to get in a single year. Their ADR for per room during festive period will be more than $5,000 for one night. So you can imagine the kind of experience, the kind of market they are in. So they attract a lot of people, and they have great amount of repeaters which actually they need to entertain every year. So for one and only and Four Seasons, this brand, one of the key reason why they have been still doing so well in the Maldives is every year they get more than 50 to 60% repeaters, and they had to renovate the product. They had to be innovative. They have to show something new. They have to show a new restaurant. They have to change the menu, or a little villa upgrade, a beautifully curated um, bar. So they kind of have to be innovative. So over the 10 years, every year they have to do something new in order for them to tell to the market, look, come to this festive. There are new things. There are fireworks. There are this and that. That's how they operate basically within the Maldives. If you look at the giants like W and Sheraton, that they own more than 32 brands and they operate quite well. They capture volume in Maldives, but they also have luxury like Ritz-Carlton, W hotels. They're doing quite well in terms of pricing, but they do have lower market capture that they go into. So these are the key four brands. But when you talk about W is kind of very interesting, that they have a strong culture that is embedded into their marketing that you see from outside. Everything evolves around the word W. So they don't use other words. Like if you want to go to the toilet, you say that you want to go to the wash basin, right? They use the W for most of the keywords that they communicate within the hotel itself. So it's interesting, to see how the different markets and different brands work in Maldives. But I want to tell you something very interesting. Now, if you look at the whole market of 1.6, or let's say 2 million guests, what is strange that is happening now is that we used to have 70 to 80% of the bookings that are managed and controlled and brought to Maldives by the wholesalers, the guys who actually work in between the hotel and the guest. So we're talking about the tour operators and those who does the booking for the hotel. So they've been doing quite well over the last years. But now the trend is actually kind of diverting, which is important for you all to know, especially even in Sri Lanka, that we are now dropping the wholesale market close to 60%, and we have 20% OTS. OTS means online travel agents like booking.com, and other platforms, because people are very comfortable in doing, their bookings through booking.com. Even with TripAdvisor, they can do the bookings now. And then we have like 10 to 15% FIT. We call it FIT, free individual traveler, that comes. Sometimes they don't even book a hotel. They come to Maldives and they figure out where they're going to go. Or they book directly with the hotel. They contact the hotel and they get their rates, and then they book directly with the hotels. With so much of millennials traveling around the world, people who have access to technologies and who are aware of the choosing, that the choices that they need to make, I believe that the wholesale market still is going to go further lower, and we will have more FIT bookings, and OTS happening in the future, which actually gives us a very important dynamics to understand, because wholesalers, they make 15 to 20% markup from every single booking that happens in the Maldives. So if someone is paying $10,000, they pay about 15 to 20%, or they take margin of 15 to 20% from the resort. The resort gives the wholesalers a special deal. They do a yearly contract with every single wholesaler on a special deals, which they can mark up and sell lower than the online rates, which is the reason why still the wholesale market is surviving in that actually plays an important role in Maldives, because they can still they can still give you an offer to come to Maldives slightly lower price than booking.com. That's how we operate, the entire Maldives operates. So that's how the wholesale market works. Now, what actually makes Maldives such a big success is that a collective effort of all the international brands that does their own marketing to bring their own guests to Maldives to get their revenue. Plus, we have MMPRC that works with as part of the government and tourism ministry that actually participates in every single fair that happens around the world to make sure that we represent ourselves. We do lots of marketing efforts. But I would say that it's not only the government who needs to invest in marketing, but when you have brands that is attracted to the country, and the country needs to work close to brands, because they are the people who will sell the country as a destination. Now, we might have seen employee engagement in a property, which normally actually is we discuss about employee engagement to retain people within the property, and we believe that when somebody has passion, and passion is the most important thing that needs to connect to the establishment to keep the people, and we need to reward people well, and we need to make the place like homely. If we change the whole employee engagement concept to marketing, what I would say is that we're talking about destination. First thing is that it's important to focus the entire direction to the right market, the right audience, like where your right market is. Like in Maldives, we got lots of things we do in Russia, we do lots of things in India, and even we do in China, because our biggest markets are those that actually helps us to sustain our tourism over the years. If UK plays a huge role as well. Then we talk about the quality, like the what we provide. Now, Maldives is blessed naturally with many features, like one island, one resort concept, the crystal clear water, the beach. But we have never attracted like medical tourism or other sectors, which is the focus for the next years, because for us to now survive in this whole competitive environment, we believe that unlike like Saudi Arabia, even Dubai and everybody else is creative Maldives, which is fine, but we still have the distinctive features of Maldives being a one-time luxury destination or selective destination, because we are, because of the location where we are very far from the natural disasters, thank God, and hopefully in the future as well, because we are in the equator, and the temperature and the tropical and the white sand and many other reasons. So the quality is very important when it comes to engaging the right people, and then the trust that you offer from the brand, because the moment the first guest starts to come, whether it's to Maldives or a property, if you don't look after them, if you don't provide them a proper service or a consistent service, then you keep on losing that in long term, which is one of the key thing why we do in Maldives, every property, even in Maldives in the airport, we do service to make sure that we understand what the guest feels and their challenges and everything. But regardless, for many reasons, we also have our own challenges. Like our airport is being very old, and the new one is coming up, and we can't even handle the amount of guests that we are getting. And people, we can't meet the guest expectation of millionaires and billionaires who's coming their own flights and 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 private jets, and we can't have that VIP experience in the airport. So we understand that, but as a country, if we don't develop, if we don't innovate, if we don't go into the quality of what we should be, then we lose the competition, right? So I don't know whether we have enough time, but I just want to quickly show you something that this is one of the lesson about the rebranding. we had we had a very successful property that been operating for more than 30 years called Huofem Fushi. A very successful property. But during the last 5 years, when we rebranded the property, we believed that rebranding is essential. However, we lost the entire market by taking a huge risk of making this island as adult only island, and we focused on more couples, and we got away from accepting or welcoming the families, which actually affected the property a lot. So it is crucial that when we are being innovative, when we are trying to evolve, when we are trying to change, we need to understand what we are trying to do, that connects to the market that we are attracting. So this is a great example where we did so many things beautifully done, and even we went into couples, we went to the extent of making the rooms only dedicated even for couples who can have all kind of experiences within the island, and we believe adult only island can actually make a successful future. But unfortunately, when the branding is done, and when we did not have enough time to position that, to market that in the international platforms, then we ended up actually going to a big failure, and going in and we had to change the concept back to where it was, even though with the renovation and everything. So this is a great example where the marketing was done by somebody else, and a great farm, very expensive marketing, but the product that we had and the market we had are not actually synchronized. You know what I mean? It's not in harmony, so which actually affected the entire game plan. So this is so important for anyone in marketing and business to understand that what you speak about when it comes to your brand to outside world needs to be aligned with what you offer. And then I also have another, these are some of the example of some very weird extent we went into making adult only resort, and creating new vision, new features, new values that actually we believe is going to work. But however, this resort has been positioned in the world, um, um, published in most of the magazines over the last 30 years, been known to many countries as a family friendly, very romantic, simple luxury resort, and an overnight change in the whole concept does not actually help. This is another example, lesson two, where I had personally experienced where we had to do picnic island for the government, and it was a short period of time. The last government wanted to open it in a short period of time, so we went to extent too far with marketing, with beautiful pictures of different colorful facilities, and we gave lots of we increased the expectation of the public, so everyone was waiting to come and experience this island with us. So when we opened the island, however, we opened with a 30% completion, with half of the facilities or even less than what we are supposed to. The island is very hot, very minimum trees, and you know where I'm going. So basically, the marketing team went and did a great job, and they slept well. But the operation and finance and what we had in our hand to deliver the service was not up to the bar of what the brand promised. So what happened was, we had so many people that came to the island with huge expectation or high expectation, and they did not get what they expect. Although it's a beautiful island, so it didn't happen. So this comes to the question which I asked at the beginning, that it is paramount, it is vital for marketing team and operation team to work hand in hand if a great brand is to be delivered. This is exactly what happens in the Maldives. Maldives as a brand, we have our MMPRC that needs to brand Maldives together with the government, so that we all are synchronization, including the guest house association, boat association, and the rest of the sectors that is connected to tourism. They need to be working in harmony to ensure that we achieve one single vision. For instance, in the last the fair we had recently in this week, it's been announced that we are going to be more focused on diversifying, as well as we are also going to be focused on sustainability for the next 5 years. So Maldives is going to be very sustainable, nature friendly, yes, which is nice. Diversification can be difficult or challenging, or may backfire us, but I think diversification in general means that we are trying to capture additional market that we could have captured in the past years, in addition to what we might be losing compared to the last markets we have. But we have so many guest houses that actually goes and provides the rooms on a very low rate. So Maldives becoming an exotic location compared to what they see of being a guest house, and the experience that they get might not be up to the expectation when it comes to Maldives. So we may have these challenges. It's a contradicting argument, but yes, we are going to have 23 major development Maldives for the next 2 years. $1.2 billion investment is going to come in tourism. We have Centara, we have big brands that are going to be operating and opening their own destinations. So most of the people now, most of the investors are going into not single island, but they're creating destination with marina, with service island, with other islands that provides variety of experience within one establishment. So this is where we are going in terms of tourism in Maldives. And I think it's a short period of time, but I'm trying to cover. I hope that it was helpful to understand a little bit of Maldives tourism and the brand itself. So I'm happy to answer any question if you have. Hope that wasn't very fast, Dr. Rohanta,
Thank
but
you
I
very
tried.
much. Thank you, Inas. Brilliant, brilliant presentation as usual. I saw you live at the Marketing Summit 2024 in
Yeah.
Maldives, and it's a repeat of that performance. Thank you so much, Inas. Many questions coming in. Let me throw the first question to you.
Yes.
The first question is, uh, we know that brand Maldives is a fantastic um, proposition that the whole world has caught. What makes you attract all the top celebrities of the world to come over to Maldives, and who have been the key personalities who have come in lately to Maldives?
Good question. So when you talk about celebrities, it's very interesting because personally, I also had encountered many celebrities in my 15 years, especially working in key brands such as one and only. We had chance to play with David Beckham kids, sitting on the same bench as David Beckham. I had a chance to actually curate and work on a villa that is actually inspired by Kate Winslet. While I was working at Amila Fushi, we had chance to interact with the Leonardo DiCaprio. So we got loads of these celebrities coming, especially all the football players. Like recently, Cristiano Ronaldo, his wife was here. Messi used to come. Suarez was here playing on the beach. So I think it's been over the years we have maintained a great reputation among the celebrities that Maldives is one of a kind of a place that they should come. It's very easy for they come with their private jet and they can expect the level of privacy that they want. There was no public media or any issues or anything that was released against the celebrities and their privacy, because most of these celebrities they seek lots of privacy. I'm not sure everybody knows, but they sometimes comes not with their wife, they comes with different other people. So it needs to be protected, right? The way they operate, how the things, like King, for example, Saudi and Prince, they when they come to Maldives, the entire island is taken. But the staff, they are professional enough to understand what to say and what not to say. that they shouldn't go take autograph only. Otherwise, I could have had many pictures with celebrities, for instance, like many other butlers, but we don't, because we don't proactively go and ask for pictures and things like that, because this is part of what we deliver in Maldives. So it is important when we expect celebrities, that they feel that they are normal human beings. They're very great. The small percentage of celebrities who actually wants to be a celebrity on property. Most of the people want to have a down to earth experience. Now, talking about Maldives as a brand, I think what makes Maldives as a brand, as I said, first we are blessed with the God giving us a very clean crystal water. We are able to promote videos and things that are actually very much connected to our ocean, snorkeling, diving experiences, manta rays. You see all these things all over. So we are able to give out and express our beautiful ocean very well in marketing. That's one. And obviously the being tropical, the white sand and the beaches, this is very much outside, and a lot of people are now trying to bring the same concept. However, we are also very good in providing a great service, and our smile and the kind of genuine hospitality that we provide in Maldives has always been helping us to create the destination as a top destination. The other thing is we are in also the location of the country being a very hot spot for Asia to connect to Europe, and also with Dubai being a transit place. So we get lots of transit flights that connects from different part of the world, that actually helps us to get more attraction as well. Then we create unique experiences, but overall, I think this is what makes Maldives as a unique destination. And one more thing, one island, one concept. So it actually gives you the privacy of you being alone on an island, although you're not, but you're with us, everything is very private. So you feel that you are, if you want to be, if you are looking for something for your family to be very private, then you get that. So we get lots of these different variety of experiences in Maldives. Yeah, that makes us Maldives.
There's another very interesting question coming in. Uh,
Yes.
it's from Sharani, who is also a master student at the Staffordshire University master's program, and she's saying, Inas, the examples that you gave are fantastic. Can you tell us one brand building experience that you had in the Maldives resort, brand building experience that you have had? What are the most memorable?
Very good. I would say I would like you to note down, everybody. Finolu Maldives by all, which is actually one of my, I would say, still one of the best experience I had. I was the cluster HR director. It's a brand new it's a new brand created by a local owner, and the property is beautiful, and the colors, the culture, the staff values, vision, and what we deliver. It's a beach club resort, and we have this huge swimming pool and all beach club activities, and the dynamic experiences we provided embedded into the marketing pitch. So if you look at the website itself, you see very bluish, colorful, vibrant, active resort. This is what you get when you come to the resort. So um, I would say I will choose Finolu as a property. And doing the branding, obviously, the resort manager Rochelle at that time had done quite a lot of work. Mark Haya was involved. I was more involved in creating the back of the house, the vision into reality with the staff and the quality and the standard. So I think we all did a fantastic job to make it work, and it really worked. It's 125 key, huge, massive resort with a huge bar and a big island, and it is doing still fantastic. It has got a new owner, but they again refurbished a little bit, but the brand and the culture, everything is so perfectly positioned well. That actually worked. So I would say that I won't remember that. I won't forget that. That was one of the best experience I had. Thank you. Thank you, Sharoni, for that question.
Um, Naresh is asking you, again, a master student in the MSc program of marketing management, and he's asking you, uh, Inas, you're one of the top marketing professionals that we have seen in the tourism industry, and it's great to meet up with you. Could you tell us, uh, was there any research done before you moved that particular brand to adult only island? and and how come the brand was launched without consumer research?
I was expecting that kind of question, Naresh. That is a very good question. Actually, the market research was done. Adult only had a market. It was a great market to target. Not many island has that market. There was only two resorts that were adult only at that time. They were doing well. And this island is so small and it has got beautiful rooms and it has got perfect situation to create as an adult only concept. But I would say that in the market, although the research was done, did we have enough time to send the message to the right market? Did we have enough time to publish into the magazine? Did we have enough time to actually position ourselves within the market, OTS, booking.com? Did we send that message? No, because we were more focused on renovation and product and opening. Rather, we had a very short period of time to send the message out as a brand. This is where we actually struggled. I would say we did a proper market research. There was a great opportunity there. It's a niche market. We could have done great, but if we look into the timeline of being an adult only, removing or having the opportunity cost of losing so much money from the family market, we could have gradually moved, given a notice of 3 months or 4 5 months, and we could have done additional marketing, gone into the market and presented ourselves as an adult only resort and shown to more of the fam trips, familiarization trips, and created the whole thing. We didn't have that. We didn't shout out the way we should, but we created the island and overnight we say, okay, we are adult only. So that affected us, and we did operate. I wouldn't say we were like complete failure. We had some good bookings and everything, but it wasn't even expect as what we expected, and it could have been better when we focused on the current market or existing market and innovated the property and still maintain our repeated customers for the festive. We could have done much better, I would say.
So, Dinesh, what you're basically saying is that once you identify your target group and why they are coming over to the Maldives, you have to make sure that all elements of the marketing mix must cater to that need.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. So you are a fantastic product, priced properly, lovely location, but maybe the promotions had not done its task, and that's why there was confusion in the marketplace. Is what you're saying, Inas. I mean, it's
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. There's a question coming from Dinesh, and he's saying, "Do you feel that the guest houses market might dilute the image, exclusive image that Maldives currently have with regard to the resorts? And what is your honest view?"
Yes, it's a very controversial question because a lot of people have different opinion about it. A lot of people that I have met thinks that it will not, because we have very clear separation of the pricing in the resorts and the guest house market. But personally, I do believe that 815 guest houses is a huge volume. Not every guest house we can manage or control the quality. So whether it's a low price or not, it is Maldives, and we are not expecting always the lower income to come and experience the guest houses. We have some good earners who also want to experience us, luxury and not luxury. So if we create, or if we don't provide, or if we create a bad perception about Maldives from an experience through guest houses that we don't have control over, then I do believe there will be impact and effect that we will have in the future. Now, if you look at, for example, 815 guest houses, that's a lot for a small country like us with 61,000 beds. And out of this, about 15 to 20% are doing quite well. The rest are not doing well. The fear is the portion of the guest houses in operation that are not doing well. Because when they don't do well, they reduce the cost of operation. When they reduce the cost of operation, they put a single person in the entire operation for housekeeping, for guest services, for picking up the luggage, for everything. So this actually creates a big, huge, massive impact to the quality of the service that you experience. Now, if you ask me, do they get upset about Maldives in general? May not, because they are not paying $20,000. They are paying $65 to get that service, where when we travel also, sometimes when we pay less, we don't expect much. When we pay high, we expect much. But in reality, with the number of guest houses we have, yes, I do believe it will have impact in our overall long term, unless we actually standardize certain areas to make sure that the service is up to the standard.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Inas. I really appreciate you spent exactly an hour with us, and it's really it's lovely to see and hear professionals from Maldives talking about their brand, the experience, and and when you're in a master's program, learn theory. And just before you came, there was a theory session that was done on the brand promise and how powerful brands can pick up uh, superior value, and you come and talking about this really beautifully synergizes. One last question I'm going to take. I hope it's okay with you. And the question
Yes,
is,
yes.
it says, we have heard that some of your properties charge between 15 to $20,000 a night. Could you tell us what are those properties, and what is so unique about those properties that can attract this kind of pricing, and who would be the kind of proposition in terms of the target who might get attracted?
That's very good. Well, 15 to 20,000. We do have $36,000 one night underwater experience in Conrad, Maldives. We have more than $50,000 experience in another resort that is recently open. We have Ritz Carlton that goes on to average of 8,000 above for room. One and only some of the suites they will charge for $20,000, $25,000 in high season. So we talk about huge, massive amounts of money. Now we have huge, like if you, I don't know whether you have seen the pictures or something. During the festive season, we have festive season. We have we call it neck season, shoulder season. So we have different seasons, like not with the climate, but with the number of people who travel. Because when it is cold in Europe, they come to sun and find the sun in Maldives, right? So we have different season, and we attract different people with the different pricing strategies, which is why our contracts with the wholesalers, they change from season to season. We don't give a wholesaler to sell $400 in June and the same price to sell in December. No way. We just time it. Every single contract have times, like 3 months a different price, 3 months different price. When it comes from December 25, you cannot stay 2 nights in Maldives. You're supposed to stay over the new year, because if you leave, it's going to be bad for the property. So we do not allow short stay from 25th or 28th of December. So we have these strategies that we do, like for example, for Valentine's Day, you just cannot arrive on 13th February and leave on 15th of February. You have to take good portion because the resort is preparing. So we have all these different strategies. When it comes to high prices, or the products that we sell on a high price, one, it is high because of the size, location, privacy. It comes with its own kitchen. It has got its own butler. One single person is assigned. They have got a buggy for them, and they have inclusive of alcohol in a huge mini bar inside their villa. They have a barbecue area. They have got almost everything. Some of the rooms has their own spa with the spa therapist provided. So we are creating a small resort within the resort, and then we are asking them to pay $20,000, $25,000. It can be 4 bedroom suites or 3 bedroom suites. And interior, this is where we are coming. Actually, we are making it different. Interior of the hotels you can see in Maldives, we have been so innovative. If you look at Soneva Jani, for instance. They are the first who create the slides that goes from the first floor all the way to the ocean, and you come back. The villas are very beautiful, and you like to have a drone to take those villas pictures. When you get drones pictures done, you share it on social media. So we create this unique, beautiful product, and people market it for you. So everything these days are about social media. If you give them something colorful, something very picturesque, you half of your marketing job is done by the customers, not you, because they speak for you. So if you look at, for example, the biggest, like most expensive, I would say 50,000 is the underwater experience. There is a beautiful bed you see, and the underwater doesn't mean just inside the water tank. It means like we have naturally grown corals around the mirror where you can see all the stingrays and even medium-sized nursing sharks and red snappers, everything that pass around you, and you feel like you're in a it's an amazing experience, and a lot of people wants to get that experience once in their lifetime. And bear in mind, world has millions, millionaires and billionaires, so it's a niche market for them to throw, $500,000 on an experience with their friends. They don't mind it. We have a property called Vela, which is owned by a Czech Republic guy. Yeah, it's not an international brand, but they are one of the biggest in Maldives. They do ADR of sometimes $10,000 to $20,000. The staff who works in that hotel gets average of 5,000 USD every month for service charge. This is the level that they are doing. And this millionaire who is owning the resort is only selling that to his friends who within his network that comes with a group of people. So you create that and ask for that money. Now that's why we ask for that huge amount of money, and they get the value for it.
Amazing, Inas. I mean, creativity at its best. Thank you so much, Inas. It's an amazing uh, chatting with you. I mean, I saw you live at the marketing summit, and I found you are so brilliant in the way you conceptualized brand marketing of one of the most popular brands in the world, which is Brand Tourism Maldives. And thank you so much for coming today. Really appreciate. And let's meet up soon, very soon, either in
Yeah.
Sri Lanka or in Maldives. Thank you
Yes,
very
yes,
much.
very soon. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and wish everyone all the best, and hope this was a great sharing of knowledge. And in future, if I get any chance, I'll be most welcome to, please to come and have a chat. Thank you very much, and have a great day.